if you have a fault come through, and the way this thing is set up is watching from the solar field on the load side, from the station on the source side. Fault comes either way, this breaker's going to open. The load side from the solar field is set a lot lower. And I don't know what the settings are. That come from engineering, but they got them figured out. So either way it sees a fault, it's going to take its solar field offline. If it sees a fault, these lights right here are going to light up, and all three are going to come on. All three lockout lights will come on. The breaker will open. These will go off. These two lights right here will change. And that's in the open position. You got an open indicator on the bottom of each one of those insulators up there. If you see the red rings around it, when it's closed, there's green rings around it. So it's set up that all three open at the same time, and all three close at the same time. There'll never be one single operator or the other. The only way you can operate them one at a time, there is some handles up here on this side. You can pull them out. But the only time you probably ever do that if something made it say lightning struck it and this whole control cabinet was dead. You can't open them and close them just like a regular root closer.
And it's always in one shot.
It's always on one shot. If it sees a fault,
it don't matter if that fault's at the dead end of this circuit.
If the amps are high enough, if the fault's high enough, it don't matter where it's at, it's taking this solar field
if it
off.
operates a station breaker, it's going to open this.
Yeah.
And it's going to tell it to close back.
Definitely. Got to close. It's on SCADA, so dispatch can close it back. But it's got to be closed back manually. It's not set up as like a recloser where it's going to see a fault, open, then close back, try it. Once it sees that fault, it's open.
So if that station breaker blinks, just say there's a tree limb bumped and it blinks the station.
It's set up to, it's timed in here, and it's set up to open after the second open of the station breaker. It won't do it on the first shot. It sees the amps and they got so much time set in it that it's going to wait till the second shot to open up. Because if that first shot burns it off, they don't want to take it offline.
All right, after the second time this is open.
This is open.
Dispatch has to close it back after.
Yeah, that's the only way you can do it. Well, you can come out here and close it, or dispatch can close it. It's set up on a permanent one shot. Once it sees it, it's going to open and stay open.
The nose goes straight to lockout. Andy, are you going to get a target on all three of the fault things, or are you going to be able to help troubleshoot?
No, what you're going to do is you're going to get a target on all three, the way it's set up here. All
So
right.
he's saying you can't stop here if you got something blink the light and look
No,
and see what
but
phase it's on.
what you are going to have on this circuit, though, they've already been ordered. They're getting new vacuum breakers. It's a different company. It's not going to be Siemens. It's Schrader. We're getting all new vacuum breakers for Poplar Street. They're going to have the 351s in them, so they will tell you which phase.
It won't tell you the high amp reading on what phase if you scroll through?
No, not right now. They may set it up to do that. Right now, the way they got it set up, you're reading the amps coming off the solar field. So, that, like I said, that's another call for engineering to see what they want to do on that. But it will, it automatically, if you push a button to trip or it sees a fault, all three of these are going to lock out. If it doesn't have a fault and you just push a button, it's just going to lock out. Your reset light right here will click. And then when you go back in and push it back in to close, you're going to hear the breaker close if you're out here. You're going to see these three phases close in, but it's going to be about 15 seconds before these lockout lights go away. And what that's doing, when it does, then the reset comes back on. And that's checking it to see if there's a fault on it to open back up before it resets. Now, checking it for a fault, it should never be a fault, because if this fault lights are lit up, you won't close it in. You can't close it with a push button, you can't close it by SCADA. All you gotta do is hit the target reset. If they clear, then you can close it. If you're out here working on it and you want to take it out where SCADA cannot have control over it, all you got to do is just remote enable it. When the light's on, it's disabled, so SCADA has no control over it. They can't open or close. They see that toggle, but they can't operate.
That's kind of confusing. Why come they didn't put remote
5
disable
years
on
old
there?
for the battery.
That's the programming, I don't know. You know, on our breakers, we put,
That makes
know-
it look like you got. Well,
if you, and two,
say it either way.
on our breakers,
Internet.
on the breakers, you've got enable, disable,
Yeah.
using two buttons, but they only use one on this. And this is the way Georgia Power does it. You ever go in their station. If you ever happen to be in one of their stations and look, whatever it says, remote enable, if the light's on, that's what it means. If it's lights off, it's the other way.
That's just kind of backwards from the other.
Yeah, it is. It is. We are monitoring the battery here and the AC volts coming on. So see that if that fuse drops out or whatever, we should see.
So is the trip circuit strictly DC or is it running AC until it goes out?
No, it's the all this is DC. It keeps this battery charged. So this battery will is supposed to last about 16 hours after you lose power. So say if something with the line went down, it really doesn't matter as much out here on the solar field, but if they were out on line somewhere, you can still operate them
So
up to
them,
about
are
16.
them the same batteries at the Moabs? You know, we're having problems with them.
No, they're not the same. It's a different battery. If you ever see these come online as a switch or anything, you're probably going to see a 351 up here because you're not worried about backfeed. That's why they had to go upgrade to a 651, which is 351 is a good controller too. Nothing wrong with it. It's just doesn't do as much. But you can these things we're talking about, you can set them up either anyway. You can set them up for a 3-phase recloser. You can set them up for 3 single phase. You can set them up for a gang switch. You can do with them whatever you want to do.
That's pretty nice.
So right now, the lineman, we do not have to get a one shot. We don't have to come. The only time that we would come here is to get a open point, as far as if we had one of these poles broke
Right.
in this area,
Right.
and then you'd have to come and open up your
Yeah.
PKRs
Yeah.
to get your air gap.
To get your air gap
So
in the ground,
it's
whatever.
still considered-
Yeah, however your procedure is for that, yeah, you'd have to do that. But it's permanently on one shot. So once something comes through or you trip, it's coming offline, it's locking out and staying out. It's not closing back. It doesn't have any reclose at all in it. We'll be that one causing problems. All right, got any